What is going on, Goofy Gamers? I'm Goofy Joey, and today we are going to be going over who won the free thing with Hani, which is the training session. You know, your training arc, so you can actually top a YCS. The sponsor of today is going to be Matt Starr. He is absolutely amazing. He's created both of our team mats, and then we're just going to be doing a review of DB Grinder's tier list because I absolutely hate making them. And so, without further ado, I'm going to copy and paste the link that we have for the winner. We're going to hit fetch. It's going to ask if I want duplicates or any one for replies. I'm going to hit continue. It's going to pick a winner, and it is Slave of Mercy. And his favorite deck is Flunderies. Kind of don't want to give it to him now, but fuck it. I'm going to tag you in this video. You've won. Make sure to watch. I can already tell that this video is going to be fire because he has anti-spell. Anti-spell needs to go. And then I see engage. I hope he's not trying to put that shit at 3. I absolutely hate that card.
Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I'm going to be doing a ban list prediction. And before we do that, I'm going to be doing a SP Little Knight giveaway. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is like the video, comment anything down below, and be subscribed, and you'll be entered in the win. The giveaway will end in 72 hours, and the winning person will have their comment pinned. I thought I was going to get unlimited, so Pankratops, Terratop, Engage. Yeah, I think all three of these should go to 3. I think Terratop's like a very obvious one that'll go to 3. Since like it just went to 2 a little while ago and like hasn't really been doing anything. I think it'd be fine if it went to 3. It'd be cool if it like got good again, and then like, you know, one day if it ever is too good again, you can just hit it back down if you want to. And then Engage Pankratops. Pankratops hasn't done too much since it's got put to 2.
If we get Pankratops back to 3, Fenrir needs to either go to 2 or 1. I feel like having both of them is going to be really oppressive because all you really have to do is just summon Pankratops' effect, get rid of himself, summon out the Fenrir, and then attack. And that clears probably like 4 or 5 cards, if not your entire board. And that would suck, especially if you're not playing the best deck.
And honestly, I really like the card. I think the card's cool at like breaking boards, and like we also have like Fenrir in the game. I know Fenrir and Pankratops aren't exactly the same. Like Fenrir is a lot worse going second, but Fenrir is also a lot better going first. This is more of like a side deck card, and then Engage to 3. Yeah, I really want Engage to 3. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's time. I think it's time, especially with like the striker support coming up, like not too long from now. So if it's not this list, Calamity. So I know like Centurion isn't the strongest deck, and I know that they're getting support soon. But one thing that I think the support does is it gives them another Synchro 12 to be able to go into, which is good for the deck.
First off, that deck is ass. It dies to any hand trap. You Ash Imperm Veiler, the first summon, pretty much is GG. I watched somebody make it all the way to top cut, and his explanation was, I didn't get hand trapped all day. Make it a top cut, make the finals, and then immediately get hand trapped to death by Rescue Ace. It's hilarious. That deck is dog shit.
If they do lose Calamity, the deck won't do anything. But even with Calamity, I don't think the deck's going to do anything. I just think this card should be banned. It creates, like, you know, game states where there's not a lot of interaction, and those aren't the best game states. We don't want those game states in Yu-Gi-Oh! At least I don't want those game states in Yu-Gi-Oh! The next card is Sanctifier, pretty much for the exact same reason as the other one. You know, you don't want to get gimmick puppeted and then you just lose. I think Brand is completely fine without Sanctifier trying to gimmick puppet people. I think it's still a good deck. I mean, we've even seen a lot of people in this format, like Nightfall. He only goes for gimmick puppet going second, doesn't even go for it going first. So it's like the deck definitely doesn't need it. So I think it'd be like fine if it got hit.
I agree with that to an extent, but the overwhelming issue is that Brandon has 3 brain infusions. So if you take away that and just hit the consistency of the deck, I feel like you don't need to take away Sanctifier. Because Gimmick Puppet, you can ban that, but then they also have Jogan. I'm pretty sure Fossil Dana can also be special summoned. there's there's just too much that goes on with Sanctifier being free, but you also want to not hurt the deck in having its combos. Like, I mean, we are now in the Fire King era, so the branded decks can all get hit because we are done with the Castera era. We're done with the branded era. Now we're in the Fire King, Diabell Star type ish. So I agree with the hit, but I feel like branded fusion should be the one that's either limited or semi-limited.
I don't think Brandon needs any other hits nor Centuron. And also, the Calamity ban makes it so that way other decks can't play it either. And then this one's gonna be a little bit wild. So I want to talk about like multiple ways to hit Snake Eyes because my original thought was my original thought was to ban the original Sinful Spoils because that makes it so that way you can't splash it and like all the other decks like Rescue Ace, Fire King stuff, and then you just have to play pure, right? But if you ban original, then Wanted, Black Witch, and Poplar are no longer starters. So now the deck just like isn't nearly as good at all. Like the deck loses a lot of its like power because of that. A lot of its like extension, even a lot of its starters it loses because of that. So I don't think we should hit original. I don't think Snake Eye needs to be like absolutely destroyed off the first ban list. I think it just needs to be hit. I prefer when like really strong decks get hit and then they kind of have to like change and adapt. And also just came out like literally a little over out. So I don't want to maybe the beginning of April. I definitely think it'll be out before YCS Raleigh though.
I don't think so.
So the ban is Oak, which I know is weird, right? Um, but
What?
because you'll see people talk about ban original, ban Flamebird, but I don't think you should be banning those cards. I think if you're gonna ban any of them right now, it would be Oak, just because you don't have to play Oak. Do you remember like back in like the end of December when people weren't even playing Oak in their list? Well, that's only if you were testing like preemptively for like Vegas and stuff. But yeah,
The
there's a
good
lot of people
players.
that didn't even play Oak in the list. Like they didn't even think it was correct. And then we ended up realizing like, oh, we're wrong. Oak is crazy. But like Oak being hit is like a hit that's like good, right? Because let me just show the other hits, right? The other ones I was thinking about, like you could limit these down to one and like hit the consistency of the deck, and also like the extenders, and also Wanted says like draw one too, which is kind of nice. So like hit those down, like the hit like the extenders and stuff of the deck. Exact same thing if it draws like a Snake Eye Ash. If these are both at one, it won't matter. But it'll hit the consistency of the deck if those are hit down. And then also, the extenders like I was talking about. But if Oak is banned, then like yeah, your combo will change a little bit. Your follow up's gonna be a little bit worse. But the deck will still work. Like you can still play the deck without.
So I disagree with this on so many levels. I think we can keep the consistency as fine as where it's at. I think the most problematic card is Flameburge. The reason why Flameburge is the most problematic card is because it's what allows you to do everything. Yeah, you can get a 2 level 1 monsters on the board, but what is that? What is your Ash searching? You're searching for the Flameburge so the Flameburge can link off, then summon it to other monsters. That's the main issue. So hitting Oak would be fine. Limiting or even semi-limiting the two search cards would also be fine. But Flameburge, I feel, is most problematic, especially inside this tier. It's not really tier zero. It's just that everyone's playing it, so it makes it tier zero. But what are your thoughts?
It. Like I'm pretty sure half the OCG players don't even play this card still. Obviously they're in a max C format, but still like the deck will still work. I don't want the deck to just like die off rip. Like this may even be too many hits to it. And then next limits, anti spell, summon limit. These are just
Fuck anti
in
spell.
limits
That just needs to
because that's what I
go.
think Konami will do. Otherwise, I would personally want these cards banned alongside like Warlords, Gozen, TC Boo. All those cards are really good. But I think they will just follow pursuit of what they've done before and hit these down to 2. Which is also why Pot of Prosperity I'm going to put in the semi-limit because that's just what Konami likes to do to the pot cards. Like Desires, hit it down to 2. Duality, hit it down to 2. And then eventually move them elsewhere. So I think whatever, put Prosperity to 2 now, limit it the next ban list. They'll probably just leave it there. If they don't leave it there, then put it down the ban. I think Pot of Prosperity probably won't do a single thing, even if Kieran comes back and the other Dragon Rulers go to 1. Nothing's changed. It gets to like look at the hand.
I also just noticed that Yaxine also posted a list. I'm gonna check that out real quick as well. So
Is
he has by
interesting in case you always
far,
wondered. But yeah, anyways,
far
let's
many
get right into it.
cards.
So the first card is Instant Fusion. It's a card that people wanted banned for a long time. So I don't know if we should actually ban it now or like keep it limited, but I mean, nothing really positive can come out of a Saki one of that can summon Millenniumizer Strict or Mud Dragon of get banned. Or what might happen would be Snake Eyes Oak getting banned, but it
Hmm.
would have to be one or the other. Alternatively, Flambridge could also get banned. It can't really get limited because the Far King version only plays one anyways. And after we get Legacy of Destruction, which is the next core set, even Pure Snake Eyes only plays one Flambridge Dragon, at least if you look at the OCG. So I actually think this card should dodge the ban list completely because it's either banned or nothing changes.
I hope it
But
gets
Snake Eye
banned.
Oak going to 0 is actually pretty logical because
So in his list, he has Colossus. It looks like Elder Nordic, Heavy Storms. I don't know what the trap card is. Call of the Great Summoner Limit, Sanctifier, Beatrice, Heretic Seals, um, Gate, DDG, the Metaphors card, Anti Spell, Circular, Link Karibo, Reasoning, Crossout Designator, uh, the Ghost Girl for some reason, also engaged, fuck that card. IP, Zealantis, don't know what the other card, Ultimate Offering, Pankratops, which is probably going to go to 3, Pot of Prosperity, which is either going to go to 2 or 1, your Dimensional Barriers, Kit Kalos, which should never come back. I don't care. It should never come back. Shifter should also be banned. Harpy's Featherstorm should also be banned. And then it looks like the Bird of Some Work. So I'm seeing all these meta changing cards, and I got a feeling that they're either gonna go to 1 or stay banned. So we're gonna skip to like probably about half, just so you guys can see. And then Colossus needs to stay banned, of course. Instant Fusion banned, Sanctifier banned, Beatrice banned. Makes sense. I wouldn't want this back. Promotes unhealthy game state. If you're already getting sacked by Harpy's Feathers, Heavy Storms is just gonna make you feel much, much worse. But at least you have 2 more cards to uh you know, give her a back row. I'm pretty sure he's gonna put the seals to limited or ban, but Gate he's probably gonna put limited. We're gonna unban the metaphors, majestic. What fucking card is this? Let's see if I can just skip to it so I can say the name.
even wants to play these cards, so it doesn't really matter too much. Magispectre Unicorn,
Magispectre.
Kirin,
Fuck.
we got
Yes.
Magispectre support in Phantom Nightmare, and nobody's playing the deck. And honestly, Kirin is not unfair. I mean, it's a very good card, don't get me wrong, but it's not like completely insane the reason why Magispectre
Oh,
is
he had
broken.
Fountain there too.
It's not like Electrum. Electrum is actually unfair. That card is cracked. Kirin, nah, we can live with one Kirin, honestly. It's better in like generic pendulums than it is in Magispectre, ironically, because this card cannot be pendulum summoned in Magispectre. The Magispectres are scale 3 and 5. This is level 6. Konami knows exactly what they're doing. Actually, so troll. Mathmech Circular to 3. Just kidding. It's not gonna happen.
Aw, fuck.
There's no new product
Yo,
that
I got
really
real
wants,
happy, like-
Cyber's decks to be pushed. If there was like new Mathmech cards announced or like just new good Cyber's cards in general, I'd probably say, maybe we can experiment back to 1. But they're not gonna do that because this is like new on the ban list anyways. So they have no reason to like backpedal and be like, oh, okay, you know what? Yeah, my bad. We're only gonna do it for 1 format, and then
I love how DB looks at it as a professional like player, and Yaxine looks it through the eyes of Konami. I absolutely love that dynamic. Like one looks through as a competitive player who's been playing for since he's almost been born because he's only like 22, 23, and then Yaxine who's been playing since the game was created. They look at it very differently, but it's almost the same list of essentially.
you can get it back. I don't think so. This is another one of those decks that can play with like 1 card. It can OTK very easily. It can play a lot of, not necessarily against them. I do believe this is the most playable Karibo monster in the history of the game. Anime appeal in a way, kind of. I don't know. It would be would make it so that we would have less copies overall of Combat the Graven Crossout than in the OCG. So we can take like the opposite route as the OCG. They have 2 Cowby, 1 Crossout. We can do 2 Crossout, 1 Cowby. I think that's a very good compromise. Next up is Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. Unfortunately, I think this card will dodge the ban list, even though I actually think it's extremely unhealthy for the game because it allows people to just abuse time at their advantage. Not in a good way, so in like actual competitive tournaments, Ghost Sister never really does anything positive.
Right.
I don't think Konami necessarily acknowledges this problem, so they might just keep Ghost Sister intact. But if you've seen like some side decks at the UDS, some people are citing like 6 time cards. It's completely ridiculous. When like, hold on a second, 40% of your side deck is time cards, you know there's a problem in Yu-Gi-Oh somewhere, but at this point you might as well just say fix the rules, not fix the card pool. So maybe the problem was not Ghost Sister, and maybe the problem was time in general. So I can give you, like, honestly, it's like the same thing as Board Breakers. They're fair cards, so we can unlimit engage completely, and it would be all good in the hood. IP Masquerade, same boat as Apple. Even going second, like you're not even main decking the card. You're citing Fenrir just for going second, and sometimes it has a better impact than Pankratops because it can search itself. So Pankratops is a good card, but there's just so many good cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that you can argue that it's fine now. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it can go back to 3, or it's gonna stay at 2, but it's not very bad players to never have to improve at the game, because they're like one single card just carries them. Same argument for Featherstorm. I want to limit or ban the card, but I don't think it will happen because they're just gonna see the results like Konami, and they're gonna be like, okay, Flunderies isn't topping like that much. Practically speaking, what's happening is that some experiences, some careers are being terminated completely because of these 2 cards. Like they're on the same bullshit level as Summon Limit Anti-Spell.
So I understand the concept between Shifter and Harpies. Like they are played in the most toxic deck, which is Flunderies, but Shifter itself isn't really as bad as Harpies. Harpies definitely either needs to get banned or limited because being able to search it off a thrust, which it makes it 4 copies, being able to search it off if you're playing pure Harpies, I don't know if anyone plays that, but if you're playing off of pure Harpies, you can activate it from the hand, which is actually insane. So Harpies Featherstorm definitely needs to go. Shifter either semi-limit or a limit, because if you limit it, people are going to feel really bad. Like they're going to feel just as worse when you get Called by the Grave, or you do Called by the Grave and then they change Crossout Designator and they change Crossout Designator for your Crossout Designator. That's how that feels. So I feel that you should definitely play 1 to 2, or actually keep it 2 to 3 of the Shifter, and then the Harpy Storm, because at least with Shifter you can play. With Harpy Storm, you really can't play. Unless you're playing like Mech Knights, which they are inherent summons, you summon, and you just try to beat your opponent. But like even then, that's still probably not going to be enough.
But D-Shifter, you can draw it going first and second, so it's really fast. It's much faster than these cards, whereas Featherstorm, obviously, you gotta go first. Unless you're playing Harpy, and then you're normal Harpy monster, and then you're going Featherstorm, but that's actually a fair application for it. So yeah, as long as Featherstorm maybe goes to 1, or not even, because then they can just thrust into it. Like you want to ask me, to be fair, that's at
fucking big brain over here.
But yeah, Shifter from 2, either to 2 or 1, I'd be fine with that. If it gets banned, then obviously I'm just gonna cry. Honestly, I'm gonna be the happiest human on earth. I hate this card so much, it makes no sense. Runic Fountain, I think it should go again in a generic format. It's just a really good engine. You draw a card, you have access to outs. That's it for this video, guys.
Right. Make sure you like and subscribe to his video. Make sure you like to subscribe to DB Grinders. And make sure you stay goofy and stay hydrated. I don't care if you like or subscribe to this video. I'm just here to have fun.